Coming up on today's episode. Hi, we're here to start the power supply build today, and I'm going to start with the resistors on this and go from there. I probably won't do a lot of commenting, and I have my fluke all ready to go to check the resistor values, I should say, and that's where we're going and what we're doing. So, all right, that's it. All right, well, it is, I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but this is the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. All the resistors now, except for the rather large one like this, and the variable resistors, have been soldered onto both boards, as you can see. So, like I say, I'm not going to belabor this. I'm going to go ahead and do probably capacitors next, at least the smaller ones. I think the only ones I have really are some disc caps and some box caps, a couple box caps. And then, of course, the big main filter, but that'll go on last probably. I've got some. I've got two of the diodes I did, as you can see there. The 4004, I think, is what they are. Whatever they are, that's what I did. Because they fit in the same basic place where the resistors. So that's that. And like I say, I'll get things going as they go. This is really not that as bad as I thought it would be. It looks a little, well, I don't know, daunting, I guess, to begin with, but it's really not that bad. I got a socket to put in there. That'll be this one here probably. And I noticed it has a bent pin there, as you can see it, I think. I'll have to straighten that before I put that in, but of course, you know, that takes a little while to solder those because of the number of pins, if nothing else, but... So got to do that, and I got several transistors to solder in. But anyway, next step, I'll go ahead and probably put those capacitors in, and then see what else I can get into. Maybe this, I don't know, we'll see. I think I've got a couple other these pin rows, what are you going to call these things? Those got to go, I think, in here. And like I said, you know, several things that's got to be soldered in. And the little header pins for these, one's for the fan. I think that's the one for the fan. And then there's some that go for the display. Ribbon cable, that's those. And so get those done. I'm not really sure why I'm doing this in such a hurry, because I've got to wait on the heatsink coming from China, AliExpress. Once that gets in, it goes here. I don't know how we can tell that. But again, like I said, I did get the fan in, so that's here. But anyway, like I said, that's what I'm doing and where I'm at. So we'll get to it and do some more. All right, well, I'm back again. Now, as you can see, I went ahead. There's no sense in, you've seen me solder things and know what it looks like when I solder things. And so I just went ahead and soldered everything in. And as such, this is basically as far as I can go now. The display board is very, well, I say very, it's complete as it's going to be, or will ever be. It's got the socket on for the ribbon cable, which connects to this socket here. And that's once the ready to use and put it into the cabinet and stuff. Now this one, this one's not soldered in, obviously, because I don't have my heatsink yet. And what I like to do is get the heatsink's got a hole in it for the transistor, and I like to go ahead and put my paste on and put that in the hole, and then put the solder that on after it gets done. So basically put the heatsink on here first, and then line it all up and put them in the holes, and then I can solder it with attached to the heatsink. It works out better, I think. The rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. All the parts are where they're supposed to be, I hope. I was a little bit questioning this one here, but looking at the rest of the diagrams, all the ones with the thick, heavy line like that are the heatsink side, and that's what that is, the heatsink side. So I've kind of figured that's the same way these are, heatsink sides on the back. So I kind of figured that was the way that went, so that was good. Not a lot of instructions with this. Bob sent me a nice pictorial type thing, and it was helpful. And like I said, it got the job done. This has gotten knocked over a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, it's mounted, the resistor there, he told me to mount that above the board, which I did. There's the back side. You can see it's all soldered. This one here is our heat sensor, and it gets mounted to these two places here. I did not mount it yet because, as you can see, it's pretty long. I think it would stick up way above the heatsink. So what I'll do is basically wait until the heatsink gets here, then I'll find a good spot to put it on there and trim these leads down to where they fit. And that's that. I've already got the clips to hold that on because I got them for the other one, and that will work with this one as well. These nuts are on. I don't know exactly how this is going to fit into the cabinet yet, and there may need to be some spacers made or something like that. But I do have a plastic. I do have a 3D printer. We can do that. There's the back side of the display board. The display again is plugged in here and screwed in at the front side. And so I believe there is a plastic wrap on it I'll take off, but I'm not going to worry about it because I played around with a couple of those before and they didn't really come off. So like I said, I'll just I think this one does, though. It's got the tab right there. But like I said, no hurry on taking it. I'll leave the protector on there because that's what it's for. So that's that. Like I said, the only thing I really don't have in is this and the sensor. But again, this plugs up to the display. It just needs to be plugged in when it's ready to go. That's it. That's pretty much it. So easy kit to build. Not hard at all. I used my fluke meter to get the exact resistance to each one. There's like, I forget how many 20Ks and 10Ks in here. You can see them down through there, I think, underneath there. But that was a big part of them, and got those in pretty easy. And like I said, that was the hardest part probably, was getting the resistors in. The rest of it was a piece of cake. Really wasn't that much difference in the parts. The little ceramic discs were all the same. They're 104s. There's two box capacitors, one there and one here on this board here. There it is right there. And that's pretty much it for the capacitors, other than the big filter cap, but that was a easy one also. Got this adjuster. I don't know exactly what that's for, but I've got Bob. So, anywho, like I say, very, very pleased. A couple of transistors there. They're well marked. You can see them if you've got eyes. And I don't mean to make fun of anybody, but what I'm saying is, if you can see them, they are well marked, and that's what these do. And I'm like the rest of you guys. I'm not immune. I have to have help too. I think these are 3X. I think 3 or 4. I can't even remember. And I have all the way up to 5X, I believe, for this. But I try to use the 3X, or the lowest ones I can actually use to see with, for as long as I can. I kind of put off the inevitable. But like I said, that's the way that works. Anywho, that's gonna do me for this little segment. So you guys have seen, I'm doing this a little bit different, this video, and I'll point that out right now while I'm here. As I said before, this is the 5th of May, and I'm trying to do this, give you a daily account of when I work on this. Now, I doubt that the next one will be for a while because of waiting on the heatsink, and I also have to get my printer fixed so I can get the case printed out. Anyway, that's that. Like I said, this is the way this one's going. Next time we come back, we'll have the heatsink, and we'll get this done. And that will, and also we can get this done, get this measured out and attached to where it needs to be, and put the clip on it and get it ready to go, because that's really all there is to it. And from then, it's just a matter of hooking. I think the 24 volts goes on this side. I think this is the output. I could be wrong. No, this is the AC 24 volts on this side. I see it now. And this is the out. So that's pretty much all there is. Other than that, like I say, the display lets you know what's what. And I like that. That's pretty good. And so we'll go from there. All right, you guys have a good one. And like I say, we'll come back when we have more. But I'm going to try to make this one video, so stay tuned. All right, we are back once again. What we find here is that we are back on the power supply, as you can see it there. And this was the missing heatsink that finally arrived from China. This, as you saw on the date on the screen, that's, it arrived in the mail yesterday. So that's how long it took. Whatever, it's no problem. Obviously, I have the large power transistor in there like that, and it still needs to be soldered on the bottom. As you can see, the heatsink itself is screwed to the board, and that is good and solid. I have the fan mounted now with 2 screws. I think that's going to be plenty enough for it. It's holding it in place really nice, and it's in a good position to where it's right in the center. That's what I wanted. And so everything is good, looking good there. Now the only thing I have to do is to cut this and fit this in here. This is our heat sensor switch, whatever you want to call it. Basically senses when the heat sink gets up to a certain temperature and kicks on the fan. And that's what that's for. But I have to cut that to length. And then I've got those clips around here somewhere that I use to attach it. And it'll basically be attached just like that. I think I've got enough room in there to get the clip in and hold that in as well. And that's all that really needs to be done with that. But like I say, I've got to cut those leads off and solder those in. I've got to solder the transistor in. And once those 2 items are done, and this is clipped to the heatsink, this thing's mainly, as far as assembling it, is pretty much done. And so, it'd be about time to start trying it out, I guess. I got to hook up the cable, or the connecting cable, with the display unit, and we can try that, put some power to it, and go from there. So I'm very happy about that indeed. So basically, you put in your AC voltage, and it will convert that, and as we want it to do. And this does have an adjustment. I have to talk to Bob about that to find out exactly what I need to do with it. There's our fan plug-in. I've got a long wire here to try to get that routed around here some way where it makes sense and out of the way. Shouldn't be a problem. But as you can see, it says AC 24 volts. Well, it's upside down. But maybe if I turned it over, you could see it. AC 24 volts in, I think is what it says, yeah. So that's what we've got there, and that will be our transformer input. And so once we get that all set up, it'll be ready to test. And like I say, I'm looking forward to it. I hope this is going to be a good power supply, medium duty power supply, I guess is what you would say. 2 amp, I think 28 volts, I believe is what the rating is on this. Like I said, let me get this thing going here, get the soldering iron fired up, and we'll go from there. Alright, well, we are back once again. As you can see, everything has been soldered in. The transistor soldered in here. The switch for the thermal switch for the fan switch, I guess is what that is, soldered there. And I do have it, basically positioned. I'll get my, as soon as I find my little clips, I'll clip that in there, and that will hold that in place against the heatsink, and that will end up our basic construction of this. I did try to come up with a case for this, yet I have not done so because I got to worrying about the BDST2 and printing those. Neither here or there, as they say. But like I said, that's what we're looking at right now, and I'd like to test this out, but I really need to have the transformer over here and hooked up to power to do that, and I don't currently even see it, to tell you the truth. It's here somewhere on the bench. You guys know my bench. You know how well organized it is. So now this works out really good here. I like that, and so I'm really happy with the way this has turned out, and I just hope I can get a case for it designed and printed, and that should just about do it. That's the plan. I'm going to try to come up with something, even if it's wrong, as they say. Let me get some more of this done, and we'll go from there and see what else we can come up with. I'd like to do a demo of this if I could. And again, I want to talk to Bob before I do that, because I'd like to know exactly what I'm doing before I do it. That is helpful. Anyway, to me it is. So, all right, let me get to it. I'll be back in a minute or two. All right, well, what you can see here is the complete setup. Power transformer here. This is the, I believe, 3 amp, maybe almost 4 amp. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's at least 2 amps. I know for sure it puts out that much. There's the wires going over to the Variac, and they are plugged into the Variac output. And these are the secondary wires coming out the 24 volt in, going into the correct spot on the power supply on the other end. This is our cable linking the display board, or as it says here, power supply control board. And I did find a clamp to put on there temporarily until I find my other ones, but that one will work just fine. Keeps the temperature sensor against the heatsink as it should. And so this is actually ready to test. What I would like to do, now here's your outputs here. I'd like to monitor that with my meter, and see if I'm getting basically the same here as I get there, and go from there. There is an adjustment to make here. There's an adjustment to make here. So I want to make sure I've got both of those the way it should be. I like to do things right. I don't like to mess up, because I think maybe with the other one I might have messed up something. I don't know. I'll look those instructions over, and we'll come back and maybe do a little demo on this. How about that? Alright, we are back once again as promised. It's set up just exactly like it was in the last. I have the transformer mounted or connected to the power supply at the correct spot, and I have the line running here, and I have for the output here I have my Fluke meter hooked up to that, monitor the DC voltage. And if you look at the I'll flash this up on the screen if I haven't already, the section where about testing and things like that. After the installation, please double check that everything is in its place, and you can start the power and test the device. Connect to 24V AC, and we have done that. The screen will light up with no character display. Don't panic. Right adjust the resistance 10K, and you will see the character. Now, the thing they are talking about there is this 10K here, and this is for the display. So I already have this preset up to the correct voltage. 118 is what I'm doing this at. So basically, when I make the Variac hot, this should come on. And I have pre-tested it, like I said, so I know it does come on. I didn't do any adjustments yet, though. So again, it says to right adjust. I don't know what that means. Right adjust. I guess turn it down. I don't know. It's all Chinglish, you know. And you will see the character. Adjust the 1K 102 and make the output voltage the same as the LCD shown. In other words, you adjust this to get your character display, and then once that's done, you adjust the one on the board here to match, so that it matches your reading on the fluke. So that's basically what we're going after, and I'm going to make this hot real quick, if I can, without disturbing too much. And again, we are at 118. So there you go. You can see the display is not doing anything. Let's try adjusting it a little bit. See if I can hold it steady here. That way is not making it. Oh, there, now it's coming in. I think that's pretty good right there. So it's saying 5 volts, set 5 volts. I don't know what that means. Well, it says 5 volts. The meter is reading 4.6. So I think we need to go down a little bit on the adjustment. I think. If I can get a hold of the right place. Yeah, it's not adjusting any. It's right at 4.5 and it's staying right there. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this to adjust the other one up or the other one down, or how I'm supposed to be doing this. This is where Bob comes in handy. Again, it's staying right at the same 4.6, 4.5. It doesn't vary at all with the adjustment of this, and I'm guessing this is what they're talking about. Maybe there's another adjustment on there, but that's the only other adjustment I saw. And so anyway, that's what it's saying. Set that. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to bump you, but it says set 5 volts. And again, it's 4.6. So, like I said, that's really all I know to do. There's that 1K 102 is what the adjustment is, and I'm pretty sure that's what the other one over there that I was adjusting is the 1K 102. I believe. So, anyway. I guess I could check that and see. Let me check that real quick and I'll come back. Alright, I'm back once again. As you can see, the meter says set 5.0 volts, and that's what I have on the meter. I'll show you that real quick. There you can see it is 5.0 volts exactly. And that's what we were trying to do. I wasn't turning it far enough is what the problem was. And all this complete. I think this is the end of the road for now, because next thing I want to do is make a case for this and get that all lined out. That's going to be difficult because I have to get a hole cut out for the display to go through, and then 4 standoffs. I'll make them out of plastic as well. And then 2 holes for these, and with standoffs underneath of them to match the depth of it, or whatever you want to call it. But again, I think that's going to work out really good. And this part here, the actual power supply board, shouldn't be a problem at all, because it's very similar to the one I made for that. Find a place for the transformer as well in there, and then we'll make some holes for banana plug, or jacks I should say, and get that done, get them wired up, and that will complete the thing. Now I will bring you back and show you a completed thing, but I wanted to get this basically the whole video from start to finish of building and testing the device, and that is what we have done. So that is good. So now that is good, rock steady, 5 volts on the meter and 5 volts on the this. So I'm assuming you turn the dials here to change it. Bob is back now, finally, so I have been talking with him, and so, like I said, it will be working now anyway, so that's good. So I've got some things to do here and get that done, but we're going to call this complete, and I hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, it is what it is as far as what I've done. I may try this later on, a different one to do the whole thing, you know, from start to finish, and then put it together. It's taken obviously, you know, all month to do this. I didn't know there for a while if this heatsink was going to make it or not, but finally it showed up. Anywho, that's that. Success here. I'm happy about that. And as you can see, it is working. And once we get it all lined out and in a case, it will be even better. So, you guys have a great day. Thank you so very much for watching, and we will see ya.